Hello everyone and welcome back to Queen Varieties channel. On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make party fried rice recipe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos. Thank you. To begin this recipe, what I'm going to do first is to steam my chicken, which is going to form the base of this recipe. So I have actually washed my chicken. What I will do now is to pour them all into the pot. So now what we are going to do next is to spice this chicken appropriately. And I'm going to show you a perfect way you can spice your chicken to develop that tasty, delicious stock out of it. First, I'm going to toss in some of my blended onions. Here is a combination of white and purple onions. Next, I'm going to toss in two different combinations of cubes. I'm using the knorr cube and the chicken cube. Here I have my spicy green peppers. This is to introduce a different kind of flavor into the chicken, and this spicy green pepper is very unique. So I love it for this recipe. So I'm going to toss it into the pot also. What I'm going to do right now, guys, is to add a combination of blended garlic, ginger, and then scotch bonnet pepper inside the pot. This is going to add another level of deliciousness to your chicken. So now I'll begin to assemble my dry spices. Guys, I'm going to toss in some bay leaves, and finally I will toss in some salt. I will turn my heat into the highest and then toss in some fresh parsley into this recipe. But if you don't have parsley, I recommend you use basil. This fresh parsley is serving as a spice for this recipe. Trust me guys, it brings out the uniqueness and taste of your chicken, unlike the usual way we normally spice our chicken. Adding parsley into your recipe makes a whole lot of difference. Try it and thank me later. So you notice I did not add water into this recipe. Yes guys, I'm going to cover my pot and allow this to cook for about 5 to 10 minutes before I will add any water to this pot. Usually, sometimes it is good to allow your spices to lock inside your meat before you begin to add water. Sometimes if you add water, it begins to lose its flavor. So guys, 5 to 10 minutes later, I'm back to check my pot. You see, so far I haven't added any drop of water into this recipe. I hope you guys can see the pot very well, because I'm not behind the camera, so I wouldn't be knowing if you're seeing here. So as you guys can see, this chicken has released a big quantity of water, even though I did not add any drop of water. So I'll be adding some quantity of water into the pot. Remember guys, I need some quantity of stock from this chicken, which I'm going to use to make my party fried rice. So guys, I'm going to cover my pot right now to cook for exactly 30 good minutes. Wow guys, as you can see, the consistency of the chicken is already thickened. So this is a perfect indication that we have properly steamed our chicken very well. You notice that the water level has reduced almost to the level of the chicken. So guys, what I'm going to do next is to transfer all this chicken into my baking tray, because I'm going to grill this chicken in the oven. So now I'm going to keep this stock aside and then transfer my chicken. So right now I'm going to transfer this chicken into my oven. We are actually entering the next stage, or the next step for this recipe, which is the introduction of the rice, or adding the rice to the recipe. So I have actually washed my rice properly until the water runs clean. What I'm going to add now is 2 tablespoons of curry powder. Next, I'll add some water into the stock. So this stock is what is going to form the base of this fried rice recipe. So now I'm going to add my rice into the pot. I'm going to leave the name of the rice I'm using in the description box. Please check it out. I'm not going to add any salt to this rice. Rather, I will use my salt when I'm making the vegetables, because remember, we are using the same stock we steamed earlier on. For now, my salt quantity is perfect for this recipe. Yes, it's perfect. 5 to 7 minutes later, guys, let me check my pot. At this stage, guys, you notice that the rice quantity is gradually coming up a little bit, so I'm going to stir it. After stirring this pot right now, what I'm going to do is to reduce the heat to a very low heat, because this rice is still very strong and I don't want to add any water into the pot. Remember, what we are making is fried rice, and party fried rice for that matter, so you don't want your guests to eat soggy rice. The steam from this pot is what is going to cook this rice appropriately. To cover this to cook appropriately. Guys, 15 to 20 minutes later, you notice that the rice is completely ready. The rice is not soggy at all. As you can see, the rice is completely bouncing. So this is how you want the outcome of your rice for the fried rice to be. And just to taste it, it's delicious, guys. It's super amazing. This is the perfect way to cook your rice for party fried rice or for a basic fried rice recipe. So now that my rice is ready, I'm also going to toss it aside. So now over to the next step. What I'm going to do now is to begin to fry my vegetables. So to start, what I'm going to do is to pour in some vegetable oil inside my pot. I just realized my oil is finished in the house, so I'm going to add in some coconut oil. Now that my oil is completely heated, I will toss in my purple onions into the pot. Yes, guys, I love that sound. Just added my spicy green pepper into the pot for extra flavor. Yes, I'm going to add my garlic, ginger, and then spicy scotch bonnet pepper into the pot. Then I'll stir it. After 2 to 3 minutes of infusing the flavors, I'm going to add in 1 cube into the pot. In the same vein, I'm going to now pour in my carrots so that it will begin to cook down gradually. I'm going to pour in my green peas to cook down at the same time with the carrot for only 3 minutes. I hope you guys can see how beautiful looking this pot is at the moment. I'm going to pour in my sweet corn. Finally, guys, the last fresh vegetables I'll be introducing into this recipe is a combination of my bell peppers, the yellow, red, and green bell peppers. I'll toss in some black pepper, some thyme, and some oregano. Finally, I'll toss in some salt on the vegetables. Then I'm going to combine everything together. Once I have combined the pot appropriately, what I'm going to do is to allow it to sit and cook down for about 2 to 3 minutes before we now begin to combine the fried rice all together. 2 to 3 minutes later, the recipe is completely ready. Guys, I'm going to taste my sauce before I remove it from heat. It's so delicious, guys. Fully packed with sweet flavors. And the carrot has some crunch. This is actually the last step where we combine all ingredients together. So guys, for this step, all you need to do is to scoop in some rice, and then you mix in some of the vegetables that we prepared, and then you begin to add everything together. That's basically it. This step is actually the easiest part of this recipe, though it is very time consuming. But if you have a very big pot, a pot that has a more wider surface than the one I'm using right now, that is the best pot to use. In that case, you wouldn't be actually mixing this recipe step by step. All you need to do is to pour in the sauce that we have prepared into the rice that you cooked earlier on, and then use a very big spoon to mix all the rice together, especially if the audience you're cooking the recipe for is a very large one. Finally guys, as you can see, I have completely mixed my rice appropriately. Yes guys, I've taken my time to mix and mix and mix. Cover the pot with foil and allow to simmer for about 5 minutes after you have mixed the rice appropriately. After 5 minutes, open the pot and then stir the pot appropriately so that all the flavors will come together for the final stir, and then confirm by tasting for seasoning. And at this point in time, you notice that everything is perfectly set, and now your party is ready. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode, and I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's recipe. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel to get instant notifications whenever I upload new videos. And please don't forget to drop your comment for me in the comment section below. Let me know what you think or feel about today's recipe.